morning, folks. I wanted to do a quick video in regards to the Expressive Name Project, or the What's in Your Name Project, otherwise known as the Portfolio Project. It has so many different names, but really it's about you and your name. And I've restructured it a little bit. It previously was done on your portfolio pages, but I'm doing it a little bit differently this year, and I think students are feeling a little bit more comfortable with it because the scale is a little bit smaller. So I put up here the schedule for today because this is only our second day of class, and what I'm planning to do with the rest of the class is a quick review. We'll do the artist inventory and then a safety in the art room Q&A, and then we'll work on our intro to what's in your name. So I'm going to share my screen here with my visualizer and just share with you guys who may not have been in class or are remote learning, so you have an understanding of what to do. Now this handout is actually right on class pages, but just to share with you, this piece takes a look at what is a portfolio. Well, a portfolio is very simply a folder that you put finished work in. It could be actually physically a folder, or it could be some kind of digital portfolio. Either way, it's a container that holds finished work. This piece is going to really push you with craftsmanship, quality of your work that's driven by skill, knowledge, and dexterity. And of course, this is our opening project, and every project we do is going to build, and they'll get better and better and better. But really focus on doing your best work. We're also going to be using something called dry media. Media in visual art has to do with the materials you use to create art. So we're going to use what we call dry media, which is anything from markers, colored pencils, crayons, crayons, pens, things like that. So the objective for this, and I know it says portfolio, but basically you are creating something that displays your name using dry media and shows something unique about you that's visually appealing and well crafted. You're going to organize your composition through planning that shows existing knowledge of the elements of art and principles of design. And we're going to talk more about those. So you have already some color media in your portfolio that you've been provided with. But the first thing is to start with a short list of maybe 5 ideas that interest you. And to help you with that, I've given you a piece of paper that looks a lot like this. Now you do have a sketchbook, which you could use, but students, I think, find this a little bit nicer because of the long box, which is very similar to the paper that we're going to be using. And you'll notice there's 4 of them. Now for your connecting competency, I am looking for a minimum of 3 sketches with a splash of color of your ideas. However, 4 can bump you up to that next column, 4 points. Okay, so 3 to 4 sketches on here before you start your bigger piece of paper. And the bigger piece of paper here, I'll just hold it under the screen here, you can see it's very long and rectangular. Okay, so proper planning is going to be very important here before you start your project. Again, I'd really like you to focus on craftsmanship here, and we are going to have a self-evaluation at the end of the project as well. And just to give you some ideas, some students like to turn the letters of their names into things, okay? You can do that if you want to. If you prefer not to, though, there are some other ways that you can go with this project. So let me show you some examples that have been done in the past. And in the past, I have had students who have done a lot of mixed media pieces. This student, right here, ooh, it's a big picture. Let me just put it down a little bit here. There you go. You can see that she turned the letters of her name into art-making materials because art was something that was very, very important to her. So that is what she wanted to do with her particular piece. This one here is a little bit more abstract. Let me just shrink it again for you. And this student, his name was David, and it's really cool. Again, this was when I was doing it with mixed media. So he had his D as the soccer ball. He had a foot and a string here to kind of represent an abstract A. I love how he did his V here, the upside down soccer player, the I, and then of course another D with the goalpost. So very creative response to how he was putting that together. Some other ones here. This one was done a few years back by actually one of our seniors, Kaylee Courier, who wanted to just have her name on here and really show color and music because that was what was most meaningful to her at the time. A lot of really beautiful coloring in that one. You might remember our student Dana Garcia from a few years ago. She really loved the movie Grease, and she wanted to combine the letters of her name into gourds, and so that's what she did. She did this just with regular markers, folks. She layered color and really tried to create really interesting ribs in the pumpkins. She did a beautiful job here, so really nice work. And again, this one is an example of one that was done on a portfolio. Let me show you one more here. Let's see. Oh, this one's a great example. I had a student several years ago when I was in Lancaster, when we were doing this as a mixed media piece. She said right from the start, I want narwhals, I want mustaches, and I want rainbows. And I said, go for it. And she said, okay, I'll do it. And she did. You can see how she made her name inside the colorful mustache and her little narwhal on top with that little puff of a feather. It looks really cool. So you have a lot of possibilities here with this project. The hardest part is really getting started. But if you have any questions, just send me an email, or if you want me to take a look at what you've got so far, please do that. I would also ask that remote students please take a photograph of your sketches and send them to me. That way I can kind of see, gives me an idea inside your head of what you're thinking, and I can give you some guidance from there. Okay, so that is our first project, and we're looking at it to be completed by next Friday, although it may not take some of you folks that long to do, but we'll kind of put that as our tentative date. Alrighty, folks, have a great day, and just let me know if you need anything.